Hi guys, I'm feeling a little bit naughty today, so I'm going to have a little bit of a rant again. Now, I know most of you guys enjoy it when I do, but I just have to make fun of situations that are upsetting to start with, but then when I get over it, I like to make fun out of it. For example, I'm well accustomed to receiving snarky comments on my YouTube tutorials now. It's like the nature of the beast, I guess. What I'm finding hard to deal with is when people that I don't know from Adam decide to privately message me with their grievances and complaints and everything else. For that, I've just got no words. Rant over, guys. Moving on to something positive. um, I'm just going to show you my new cutters that I got from Joy Creations, and these are the cutters I'm going to use today. I absolutely love them. She custom made me these, so there's the one shape, and she also did me some earring sizes as well, which are mirrored, which I just dropped. But yeah, mirrored earring piece cutters, and a regular sized one. I think there's another size in that one. Oh, it's just the mirror of the mirror image of the bigger one. So, but anyway, it's this cutter and these cutters that I'm using today. I just love them. She also made me these ones as well, which I asked her to make me, and I just think they're really nice for faux stone shaped stones. Having a hard time speaking, guys. Anyway, they're the cutters I'm going to use today. Those two shapes. Joy Creations website will be linked in my description. And then moving on to the faux stone, and I'm making faux river agate today. And what you're going to need, and I've already prepared my clay somewhat. I've rolled out a strip of Premo Trans. I used about 1.5 strips from a 2-ounce block, and I rolled that onto a number 4. So you'll need a strip of that. I've got another piece of clay here, again about 1.5 strips from a 2-ounce block, but to that I'm going to add a tiny bit of white. So I'm just going to take a little corner of this, and that's all you're going to need is this little bit, and that's going to get mixed in to that. Okay, so this isn't currently conditioned, it's just quickly rolled out, but now it's going to get conditioned because I'm going to put it through the pasta machine. You'll also need another piece of trans. This is about, actually I probably don't even need that much of this one. I'm going to say it's about equivalent to 1 strip from a 2-ounce block. And I'm going to add some orange alcohol ink to this, and then that's going to get thoroughly mixed in. So I don't know, 5 or 6 drops should be enough, and you can use any ink. I'm using my Picassios as usual, and this one's called Sunset. So I'm just going to brush that on, leave it to dry, and then that's going to get passed through the pasta machine as well. And I'm going to roll all of these components onto a number 4. So that's that. So that's going to get thoroughly mixed and rolled onto a number 4. That's going to get thoroughly mixed and rolled onto a number 4. This is already rolled onto a number 4. Just going to clean my brush off before I forget. So many times I go to grab a brush and I use it and it's dirty from my previous use because I've not cleaned it properly. I'm terrible for that. And just while I'm thinking about it, if I don't show you something in my tutorials, it's because I didn't do it, if that makes sense. I don't miss out any steps, let's put it that way. So what you see is what you see. I'm just pointing that out because people ask me questions, or did you ... Well, if you didn't see me do it, then I didn't do it. I don't miss any steps out, guys. Alright, then I've got some more clay here, and this is going to be made into a blend. So I've got some gold glitter Premo, I've got some copper Premo, I've got some silver Premo, a little bit of white, and another chunk of trans. Now, maybe just under one section for the gold and the copper, and then just a little bit less for the other three colours. So I mean, it's only rough. It's a rough guide, guys. But we're just going to make a blend. So let's do that then. So I'm going to just take each of those chunks of clay, and maybe if I roll it into a ball, you'll see better how much it is I'm using. But it's no biggie. You're just making a blend, and you can make this as big as you want anyway. So I'm going to take each colour and just form it into a little teardrop like that. And make this one as well. I'm sorry if my extra hand movements are making some of you dizzy. See what I mean? I'm feeling extra feisty today, guys. So I'm just going to do the same thing with this, and I'm just rolling them into very rough teardrops. I'm not over precious with my blends. The silver, there's a little bit less silver, so I would probably say 3/4 of a strip from a 2-ounce block. And these are just approximate, guys. I'm not being... Actually, I am going to take a little bit out of that copper. That looks a little bit too much. So again, about 3/4 of a strip from a 2-ounce block of Premo. Now, in the last batch of this I made, I actually just used gold, but I don't have any, so I'm improvising with the copper. We'll see how it turns out, but I don't think there's going to make that much difference. And there's that kind of hue within a faux agate anyway. But just bear in mind, instead of this copper, I used gold. But like I say, I ran out. And I actually went and bought clay at the weekend. And then when I came to do my tube today, it's like, oh, I didn't buy any gold. So I'm improvising. It's fine. So that's that, and then just a little bit of white. This is probably just half of one segment from a 2-ounce block of Premo. I don't want to overload it with the white at this point. So I'm trying to think which way. Yeah, I'm going to put the trans at the end like that. So this is going to become my blend. And all I do is I roll it a little bit flatter so it fits through the machine. And don't worry about it being all higgledy-piggledy like that. It's fine. And if you don't know how to do a blend, do what I just did, and then make sure it's thin enough to pass through your pasta machine. Pass it down this way, then fold it colour to colour, and pass it down again, and you always pass it the same way with the fold at the bottom. So it would be folded colour to colour. I'm only showing you very roughly, and then pass through until you're happy with your blend. So I'm going to go and do that off camera because you don't need to see me do that, and there's loads of tutorials on how to do a skinner blend if you want to look them up. Whoops. So that's going to get blended, and then the last component is just some straight up chippy choppy. So we might as well do that now. So I've got a little block of translucent clay. I've got some gold mica powder and some liquid translucent. No, it's not Sculpey. It's Kato liquid poly clay, which is translucent. So I'm just going to literally chippy choppy this up. And you don't need to make a massive amount of this. It's just one component in the overall finished stone. So, you know, that kind of size chunks, maybe a little bit smaller on some of them. They don't have to be big, chunky pieces, but I don't want them to be mega small either. And then I'm literally just going to chuck some gold mica powder on it. Just a little bit, don't need a lot, just enough to coat those individual chunks. Like so. And then I'm just going to get my translucent liquid clay, just drizzle a bit over. Just enough to coat it. Whew, that stuff stinks. Whew, that smells real plasticky. I love that smell actually. Somebody gave me this, so I've never really used Kato before. I just got a real strong whiff of it. Oh, I love that. Oh, it smells like, remember when you were a kid, if you were a girl anyway, or maybe even boys with the Action Men, but like the plastic dolls, the dolls that you used to get as a kid, and they smelled plasticky. That's what it reminds me of. Oh dear. Oh my gosh, I'm rambling today. Anyway, so I'm nice and sticky and a gold finger. Gold finger. So I am gonna try and get these bits off me first. I'm just going to quickly wipe my hands so they're less sticky, and it just makes it easier to put all this together. So you're just going to form a typical chippy choppy block ready to go. As simple as that, she says, as it's not sticking. Don't know what's wrong, guys. I feel a little shaky. Don't know. Just do. So this will be my last tutorial. Actually, I'm telling a lie. It's not going to be my last tutorial. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to England on Sunday. Well, I say I'm going. I'm going if my husband manages to get his emergency passport. We'll see. But assuming that I am going to go to England on Sunday, oh my gosh, guys, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I will do another video and schedule it to be published while I'm there, so you're not going to be without a tutorial for the whole time that I'm there. My dog's going nutso again. Alright, I'm having a really hard time sticking this together, guys. Oh dear. What am I like? It's going to be quite amusing. I don't know if some of you know, but I actually came from Nottingham in England. And I don't particularly have a strong dialect, but I do know that once I go there again, I'm going to be picking it back up, even stronger than it is now. It's just one of those things. Oh my gosh, this chippy choppy is taking forever. So when you've got your block nicely compressed and formed, I'm just going to leave that there, guys, because this is getting on my nerves now. You've got your block of chippy choppy, that can just go to one side for now. I've got my alcohol ink to mix into that piece of trans. I'm just going to clean my hands. I've got this translucent to be mixed with that white, and I'm also going to go off and do my blend. So once I've done all that, I'll be back. Okay guys, I've got all my components ready, so I've done my blend. But what I want to do now is make it into a strip, because you're going to try and make all your strips as close the same width as possible. So there's the translucent mixed with the pinch of white rolled onto a number 4. There's the translucent mixed with the orange alcohol ink, but that I did roll that down to a 5 actually. And then I've got my strip of just plain old trans rolled onto a number 4. So they're all the components ready now, and then the chippy choppy block. But I want to make this into a thinner skinner blend. Thinner skinner. So it's going to be roughly the same width as the strips I've already rolled out. So what you do is you just take it, fold it colour to colour, I'm just going to do it like this. Try and get it as equal as I can to the other strips. So you're just folding it so it's a lengthways strip like that, colour to colour. And then I'm going to take this back through the pasta machine and I'm going to take it down to a number 4. I might as well stay on camera. I know you can't see me actually rolling it because my pasta machine's all the way over there and I haven't got the means to be turning my camera around. But just remember guys, if I don't show you or I don't mention it, I didn't do it. Simple. So I'm just giving this a bit of a squish and a bit of a squash. And then I'm just going to give it a quick roll just to thin it out a little bit so I can actually get it through my machine. And I'm going to take it down to a number 4. So this is going to end up quite a long strip. Just take it down. Hope it doesn't break. And there we go. So I've got an extra long strip and I'm going to need to make some room, aren't I? So let me just move these pieces out of the way so I've got some room. And then all I'm going to do is cut this. Let me go the other way. I'm going to cut this into equalish sections. Again guys, I'm never overly precise. This is a faux stone and you don't have to be perfect, you know, with your perfect little squares and everything. So I'm just going to cut them roughly the same size, but I need to try and keep them in order. So keep them in the order that you cut them. And I'll bring this bit over. Again, I'm not being overly precise. If some are bigger than others, it doesn't matter. Like that one's going to be a little bit longer. If you wanted to be more precise, you can just get a ruler and measure. But I'm not, so. Oh, that one's gone really small. Okay, so just cut your pieces into segments and keep them in the same order that you cut them. So you've still got that gradation of colour going down. I'm trying to think what I need to do next. This was a bit of a headache to try and figure out, and it's just there's just so many different things going on with it. Alright, so I'm just going to take these pieces now and I'm just going to start to stack them one by one. And I think I'll stop there for that little block because I don't want to make the individual stacks too thick, and you'll see why as I go along. So instead of trying to explain why, I'll just show you why. And then I'm going to take some kind of pokey tool. I've just got my needle tool and I'm just going to push some indentations in there. And that just helps give it a nice little wavy pattern, which you'll see in a lot of faux stones actually, but this is the agate one. So, and I'm going to just squash it back together a little bit. Just condense it a little bit. And I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just push it, really push it down. That was my stomach if you heard that growling. So you'll get something that looks like this. And I'm just going to push it back together. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to form a perfect little block because this is actually going to get rolled out. So, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now, so you'll see the individual blocks as I build them up. Then I'm going to go on to the next stack, keeping them in the order that you cut them. I'll just get rid of that because that is extra long. And I'm taking it down. Again, it doesn't really matter where you stop stacking. It's all going to get incorporated. Whoops, wrong way around. But I just don't want them too thick. Again, just pushing down with something. Give it another squash back together. And again, on the other side, just make some little indentations in there. So that's 2 little blocks. Try and keep them roughly the same size. Now for this one, I'm actually going to start introducing the translucent now. So I'm just going to start with my stack. I might need to roll out some more trans, guys, looking at it. I wasn't thinking about adding the trans into these, I forgot. Sorry guys, so you probably will need another strip. And I'm just going to start chucking a little bit of trans in there as we go along. So I'm guessing we might need a little bit more trans, but that's all I'm using for that. And then these bits are pretty trans anyway, so that can just get squashed on there. And that's another little block. We'll see how we get on. It's quite difficult to gauge how much you're going to need, and especially when you're forgetful like me. So I might have to roll out a little bit more trans. We'll see. Alright, let's put those little indentations in again. Give it a squash back together, do the same on the other side. And if you wanted to make thicker ones, you could. Just use the end of a toothbrush. I always say toothbrush. Paintbrush. They don't have to be thin like the ones I just did. You can vary it. It's all good. And then just kind of compress it back together again. I'm just going to give this one a little roll just to help it stick. Okay, I hope you're following this. It is time consuming and there's quite a lot going on. So I really hope I'm explaining it okay to you guys. I'm just going to add a few more little dents in this one, I think. Just to make it like extra frilly. It almost looks like a frilly pattern. You'll see when it gets rolled back out. Another squash. Okay, so that's the third block. Now we're going to go on to the white and trans, and I am going to need more trans, guys. Sorry, you're going to need another strip at least because we need to add trans into the orange. I completely forgot about that. Apologies, but it's no biggie. I shall go and roll some more. So again, just cut these into equalish strips. and just again just stack them up. So this is the trans and the trans mixed with white, and I'm just, you know, random putting some together, and then just maybe one and then another, you know, just random. That little bit there, that little bit there, and that little bit there, and that's another stack. And I'm doing the exact same thing as I did with the other 3 blocks. Okay. So I'm going to go and roll some more trans. You don't need a great deal, just enough to pair up with the orange strip. Alright, and I'm going to finish indenting this side, that side. I'll do that off camera because you've already seen me do 3 blocks, and I'll be back. Alright, I rolled out just a little bit more trans, don't need a great deal. And we're just stacking these as well. It's okay to put 2 of the orange together, you don't have to do single, you know, one then the other. Let's go with that, and we'll put that one on the bottom. So again, it's just a rough stack of the translucent and the translucent mixed with orange alcohol ink. And my fingers look gross now. Oh well. Okay, so last block then, I did the white and trans one as well, so we've got 4 blocks of that so far. This is block number 5. So really it's just about getting the colours and stacking them. It's not exactly rocket science. It did take me a while to work out how to put it all together, but I'm hoping this turns out, guys. I really do hope. I'm always a bit nervous doing faux stones because they're a bit unpredictable. A, because I forget steps, and I really should like take pictures as I go. But I tend to go off at tangents as well, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just do that and I'll just do that, and then I forget what I did. So I'm just putting some impressions in this one as well. Flip it over and do it the other way, just to make sure we've got some nice little ripple effects going on inside. And then I'm just going to squash it back together like the other ones. I'm going to make sure they're all facing the right way, otherwise the pattern will be weird. So let's face them all the right way. See, where the lines went that way, you're going to be having it facing towards you like that. It's a bit harder to see with the trans one, but yeah, that's like that, and wait, like that, and like that, and they're the 5 stacks. Now we've got our little block of Chippy Choppy ready to go, and I'm just not going to keep this in a square. This is going to be the centre of the stone. And I don't know if you've ever looked at Faux River Agate before, but it's not square. The middle's not square. So, you know, just a random shape. I'm just a little worried this is not going to stick together very well. I don't think I put enough liquid clay in. I guess as we move along it will get warmed up and more cohesive. So I'm just making this, I don't even know what shape it is, it's just a random shape, kind of triangular-ish, diamond-ish. Alright, so once you've got your little block in the shape that you want, that's going to be the centre, so you're just going to leave it as is. Now this is the fun part, this is the part I enjoy doing anyway. Now you can layer these up in any order that you would like. I tend to go the lighter to darker colours, but you don't have to do it that way. Let me just show you. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm going to go with the orange and transmixed first, and all I'm going to do is I'm just making sure this is nice and soft and conditioned, and please don't let there be any placking. That's the thing with this. Translucent clay is good just to roll as a sheet and not get any plaques, but when you start pushing it back together, there is a danger of creating more plaques, which to those of you that don't know just means trapped air bubbles. And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to roll it out. Am I doing it the right way first before I, yeah. Roll it out lengthways. So the lines that you cut are going this way, you're rolling it out this way. Fairly thin, so it does actually squash some of that pattern, but you'll see what happens when I've pieced everything together. So I mean, it's not mega thin, but thinnish, and it would help if it was the same thickness as the Chippy Choppy centre. So I've just got to thin this out a bit now. Try and get it at least close to the same thickness. That's still a little bit off, but I mean, you could always make a bigger centerpiece as well. I guess I could have made it bigger, but I didn't. I'm sure you can figure it out for yourself, guys. This is just me showing you how I do it and how I screw up as I go along and how I fix things as I go along. Okay. It's still a little big, so I am just going to not worry about that and just trim a little bit away. There we go. Problem solved. And then I'm just going to wrap it, but you don't have to wrap it all the way around. You can cut a piece away and wrap it somewhere else at a later stage. So that's what I am going to do. And just make sure it's on there pretty good. Alright, so I've still got some of that left. And then what I'm going to do next is, now which way do I want to do this? I'm going to go with the translucent. Do you remember the strips I cut out and it went from this to this to this? Well, I'm using the one that's got more silver in. Again, it doesn't matter, guys. You can mix and match it any way you want to, but I just prefer to go from the orange and then start to go light out into the darker colours. That's just how I like to do it. But you can piece it together however you see fit. And same thing, I'm just giving this a quick roll and I'm going to try and keep it roughly to the same thickness as the block. And then I'm going to take that, and again that's a bit wide. Just remove a little bit. Again, I'm going to take that, and I'm not even going to wrap it in the same place. I'm going to take it round like so, and I'm just going to keep that as one piece. You're essentially making a geode, and I know these pieces are bigger on that side, but we'll deal with that later. You're essentially making a geode if you think about it. Similar to a geode anyway. And then I'm going to take my other piece of orange and stick that there. So you can be as random as you like with it, really. And then I'm going to take my next block, give it a roll. This one's a little bit of a thinner, smaller block, so I really hope this is making sense. And then I'm going to take that and just wrap that round there like that. Don't worry about any cracks forming because this is all going to get reduced. So you're essentially making a cane. Okay, and then I'm going to take this last coloured piece, same thing, roll it out. And this isn't a very big block, so there's only going to be a little bit of that. And I'm just going to plonk that there, like so. And then last but not least, I'm going to go with the last bit, which was the trans and white mix. Now this is a bigger block, so I can make several segments from it, hopefully. Let's make it quite a bit thinner. Give it a quick roll again. This was Premo white trans, guys. I forgot to say, I just said trans, but it's actually white trans. You don't have to use the white trans though. But that's what I've got, and I do prefer it, to be honest. But I also think that using regular Premo trans looks kind of good in stones anyway. But this is what I have, so that is what I'm using. Okay, now let me think. Do I want that to go there, or do I want it to go there? I think I'm gonna take some away and just have that bit there like that. And again, it's a little big. I am pretty bad at eyeballing, you probably noticed, but you just make it work. And I don't know if you can see very well, but especially on the white, you can see some of the pattern coming through now, and you'll see it even more when it gets rolled. And I'm just going to put this bit, let me lengthen it a bit. This is just all about manipulating the clay really, and getting it to do what you want it to do. And it's a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle. So I'm going to go here with this piece. So there's a little bit of that trans on the other side as well. But again, guys, you can piece it together any which way. Now this is going to be the part I hate. There's two parts I don't like about doing tutorials. One is prepping the clay and making sure I've remembered everything. And two, not that I make canes very often, but reducing canes, I hate it. So I'm just going to try and get this all, you know, nicely stuck together. I'm not worried about this getting all weird on the back because I'll just cut it away. So you've just got to start reducing it. It's a big old plug of clay. You're going to get a load of stuff out of this. But again, you could make this a smaller cane. You don't have to make it as big as this. Just if you want it smaller, just use the half the amount of clay that I suggested, and even then that wasn't exact. So I'm not going to go and reduce this whole thing on camera, but all I'm doing is making sure it's nicely stuck together. This is the top of the cane, this is the bottom of the cane, and you're going to turn it on this way and start to reduce it, so you're pulling it out like this. So I'll do a little bit more, and all I'm doing is pushing, pulling, pushing, pulling, and trying get the center as well. So you're pulling, pushing and pulling from the center outwards, and it's going to take me quite a while to do this. So once I've reduced it, I'll be back. Alright guys, I've reduced it and I've chopped the ugly ends off, but actually what happened was, it's kind of cool. This is what it looked like, and I chopped the end off because it was like losing the middle, but you could do something with that. You could add some sort of sparkly things in there to make it look G-O-D, maybe, I don't know. Alright, so I've got my cane, and I'm not making it round or any particular shape, it's just because we want random slices. I'm just giving it another little squeeze just to make everything, sure everything's all compressed together, and there we go. Alright, so I'm going to take fairly thick slices, just cut down, and there we have it. And I'm just going to roll it, and this is where you'll start to see the pattern stretching, those little ripples that you made in the clay. And I always flip it over on the other side as well so it catches up with itself, otherwise you'll get like a little shrinky dink bit on the back. Alright, so there it is guys. Let me just make sure it's roughly the same thickness. I'm going to get my little sticks. Ow. I think that was a splinter. Ouch. Just going to give this a roll so it's the same thickness as these sticks. That way I know I've got a big enough piece to cut out my pendant. And I find this is a good thickness as well, particularly if you're going to resin. Alright, so there's the first piece. Admittedly, you might not get all of those layers on, depends which kind of cutter you're using. I'm not going to get it all on, but so I'll just pick a spot that I think looks good, and I'm going to go there. Make sure it's pushed through. There we go. So again, it will look different depending on where you cut as well, what kind of pattern you're going to get. But there's my piece, and that's the first piece. I'm just going to put it on some printing paper to bake it on. Excuse me. Now I think I'm going to be able to get this in there to make the earring, so I might as well use that. Let's go there, cut that out. Now these pieces that are left over, these are amazing for chippy choppy because you've got a lot of translucent in there and it just kind of looks really cool. So there's another piece. So I'll show you what I mean. Just get it and chop it like you would any chippy choppy. Coat it with some white mica powder, pearl mica powder, so you can separate the bits, and then add the liquid clay, and Bob's your uncle and Fanny's your aunt. But that's what I'm going to do with my leftover pieces, is chippy choppy, so I just wanted to quickly show you that. You know the rest. There's a lot of tutorials that does that chippy choppy style, so okay, so I just need to do the opposite earring to this. Which one did I do? Yeah, that one. So I don't need that one, but I'll need this one. Same thing, I'm just going to cut a fairly thick piece. Give it a roll. Flip it so it catches up on itself on the other side. Do you know what I'm thinking, guys? Do you know what I forgot to do? Derp, derp, derp. Oh my gosh. These are still going to look okay, but I did miss something out. I'm just going to be transparent with you and tell you. When you do your blend, and then you chop it up into the individual squares, and then you stack it, add a little bit of translucent in with that as well. And I forgot to do that, didn't I? No biggie, no worries, but it will give this bit here more translucency. I mean, there is translucent in some of that blend, but where it's gold, there isn't going to be any. So when you're stacking your gold pieces back up, just every now and then add a little bit of translucent. I can't believe I forgot to do that, but I'm being transparent with you and telling you what I forgot to do. You don't have to. You don't have to, but that's what I did in my last one. So, and I completely didn't do it. Okay, which way around am I doing this? Yeah, okay. I'm going to go there with that one. Yeah, so when you restacking all those squares, make sure you put in, well, you don't, like I say, you don't have to, but if you want that translucency in the gold part as well, you do need to do that. Just add a couple of squares, you know, alternate gold, gold, trans, gold, gold, whatever. And there's the other earring. And I will show you the ones that I made where I did actually remember to put the trans in those bits. Oh dear. Have I got enough here to make this earring? I'm just going to use this shape as well. I think we're just about good. It's not going to get any of that gold in, but not to worry. As you know, stones vary anyway. It depends where you cut them in real life, I guess, as to what you're going to get. There's another piece for my chippy choppy pile. There's that piece. I'm just going to chop this up. That's another little pile for my chippy choppy. Make something cool with that. And then I'm going to do one more pendant. Oh no, I need to do another earring, don't I? What is wrong with me today? Oh, let me cut this one a little thicker. I might be able to get both the pendant and the last earring out of it. Oh my gosh. Oh dear. I suppose I could go and re-record all this and include the trans, but you know what? I'm not going to, guys. I'm sure you understand what I mean. On these bits here, from the blend that you did, you cut them into squares, remember? And just alternate with a little bit of trans here and there. It doesn't have to be every other square. But I feel bad. I feel bad for not doing it. I feel bad for missing a step. Well, not really a step, just missing out some clay. It happens. But I can't do another recording of this. There would be a lot of clay being used, so it is what it is. I'm going to go up here with this one. That looks cool. So there's that pendant, and I just need to cut out the last earring. And I think we're good. Make sure I cut the right one. Yeah, I did that way, so I need to do it this way. I think it will just fit. And another little piece for my chippy choppy. I'm just going to give these a quick wipe. Move all this out of the way. So I've got a wet wipe and some isopropyl alcohol. Let me just show you what I mean, guys. Some of you don't know what it is. You can get different percentages. I've just got the 70% right now, but that's good enough. Rubbing alcohol, isopropyl, yeah. And you can get that from just about, you know, anywhere really. Did I just spray some or not? If I did, I can't see it. Oh dear. I'm having dirt moments left, right and centre today. Now there's a few little cracks in this one, but I'm not going to try and smooth them out because I just think that adds to the realism of the stone. So I'm just giving them a quick wipe. Something got stuck on this one. A little blob of something. But there you go. There's a little something on that one as well. Sometimes I don't know where these little blobs of stuff come from, you know. It's like, okay, I've been using the colours that I've used, so how come I've got a piece of black in it? It's like, what? Alright guys, I've faffed around for long enough. I'm going to go and bake these in the oven. Am I going to resin them or am I going to sand and buff? I think I'm going to resin these because I want them to look shiny, and it does help to bring out the depth of colours as well. So I'm going to go and bake them and I'll be back. Alright guys, I finished them, although I haven't made anything with them. I will show you some pieces that I finished, but just for the purpose of this video, they're the pieces that I did today, and I've sanded the sides and the back and resined the front. I haven't resined the backs. I don't always resin my backs. If they're like really nice and smooth like these ones, it's not always necessary, but anyway, that's those ones. So that will be a pendant and earrings, most likely. That was the intention anyway. And then these are the other ones. I absolutely love these shapes, but they're the other ones, okay? So like I say, they're not finished. I just wanted to show them to you as cabochons, but just so you can get an idea, here are some finished pieces, and these are from my last batch. Now, just for comparison, there isn't a great deal of difference, as you can see, except this one I obviously laid the orange and trans in a different place in the block. So just play around where you want all the different, you know, pieces to go, but that's from the other day that I did a batch, and that's from today. And not to forget, not that you can see much of it, but the gold that I talked about earlier, there was like some layers of trans in there as well, but there's hardly any difference, so I'm kind of relieved about that. So that's those, and then a pendant to match from a different batch that I did, but again, not much difference really. Okay, and all I did was added a fancy pinch bail and a chain on this. These pinch bails are in my Amazon storefront, so you can go and have a look, as are the earring hooks and the cards actually. They're all in my Amazon storefront, but they're the pieces, guys. So Faux River Agate, you can play with colours. You don't have to use exactly the same colours as me. But there they are. Let me just make them in a nice little pile so they look good. Alright guys, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye.